What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. DMZ missions are what we do over here. We're covering all of the tiers and all of the factions. Season 3 is in full effect at the moment with a brand new faction called Redacted, and today we're looking at a tier 1 mission for that faction called Calling Card. Now this mission is a two-parter and you can accomplish it on Ashika Island as well as the original Al Mazrah map. I did the majority of these objectives on the Al Mazrah map, but I will cover some pointers on both of the maps. So first and foremost, we need to be finding and extracting 3 scavenger calling cards, which I'll explain what those are. And then last but not least, we also have to kill the scavenger. Now with the release of season 3, a new commander was added to both of these maps. This commander is of course called the scavenger. And essentially what this commander does, what this elite unit does, is as enemy players, as humans are killed on the map and their bags are left behind, over time, this elite will visit those bags and actually replace their dog tags with calling cards. Now these are the calling cards that you should be extracting off of the map, and you need to be doing 3 of these to complete the first part of this objective. You don't have to do them all in one deployment. You can stretch these out over a couple of jumps, but the bottom line is you need to be getting 3 of these cards. Now this can either come from you killing players and then you know where those players have died, so you can simply go away for a little while and you can come back and you will then find these calling cards having been placed on their bodies instead of the dog tags. Or it can be cases of you visiting, fighting hotspots on the maps, and there where players regularly die, you can then potentially run into one of these bags with this on. Now last but not least, as you are moving around the map, sometimes you will get an audio call out and you will get a red ring on the map that says players have died in this area, commence your investigation for looking for the scavenger. Now this audio call out, this can sometimes be indicative of the scavenger actually also being in that area, and in this case you will find this elite with a couple of guards basically looking like human players roaming in this red ring area, and you'll have to engage and fight this guy. Now do come prepared for this fight. He is heavily plated, and since he has a couple of buddies with him, usually this can be a pretty saucy fight. If you are a solo, you can be engaged by this guy and taken down, so approach it just like you would attack any other commander, with caution, use cover, and as mentioned, come with some plates, come with some self revives, and use your lethals and your tacticals and all of that to basically clear them out. Now one last thing I want to mention before we talk about the difference between the 2 maps is I've encountered an issue on Al Mazrah that if you kill the scavenger, any calling cards that are around him on the bodies, you can't pick those up anymore. I don't know if this is an Al Mazrah bug itself. I did not encounter this bug on Ashika Island, but it is something that I wanted to mention to you just in case, that if you have a situation where you see the scavenger but you also see bags, you need to try and get those calling cards first before you kill him, since after killing him apparently those calling cards are not lootable. This is probably a bug and it will most likely get addressed. Maybe even by the time you are watching this video it's not a problem anymore, but I did want to mention it just for the sake of clarity. Now, as promised, I just want to explain the difference between the 2 maps and essentially how you would approach the mission. In the case of Al Mazrah, what I did is I simply went around certain areas, especially extractions, as well as her feed port was good for this, the airport was good for this, and basically around areas where other weapon cases are, the train was good for this. Places where I knew that enemy players would die, I would simply get myself a car and I would drive around until I saw this red ring pop up, which would happen at least once or twice per deployment, so this is really good. And then in those cases you just simply explore the area, you find the backpack or backpacks of dead players there, you get those calling cards and you're good to go. On one of those attempts I also then ran into, of course, the scavenger, and I was able to knock him out, and that was done. In the case of Ashika Island, it seems that the scavenger tends to favor areas near the beach. All of the times that I've ever encountered him, it was either on the right side of the map near the ships, or it was in the north residential area. So you might want to scout out those areas and include them in your patrol route when you're looking for the scavenger or when you're looking for places where the bags are. Same thing as I said for Al Mazrah though. Obviously, where other players die, hotspots where combat is happening, is good for you to visit, because you need backpacks of dead players so that those dog tags can be replaced by calling cards. But either which way, once you have both of these steps done, this will be this mission done, and it's on to the next tier. that's also going to be it for the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know if anything about this was unclear. This was actually a very cool addition for me in season 3, essentially adding this ghost-like, you know, roaming captain or elite or whatever you want to call him. I mean, I keep calling him a commander, but he's not really as tough as a commander, but he is tougher than the standards, you know, tier 3 soldiers that you fight. But either way, I thought this was pretty cool. It's like a nice thing that you have, and it shows you the kind of things that they can do on this map when they start like developing some more of the concepts and some more of the, you know, different systems as they build them in. So super hopeful that this leads to more complex boss fights and, you know, greater missions that involve, you know, more things to do. But either which way, as always, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are in the world. Until next video, fucking cheers.
They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.